Good morning. Couple things in this video. First, I want to let everybody know that tonight I will be a guest on the Role Playing with Smart People podcast. That will be 7 Central. I'll put a link to their podcast. I don't know if they upload those or if it goes live. I have no idea how that works, but I will put a link so you can find that podcast, and hopefully we have a great conversation tonight. The subject of that podcast conversation is chasing dragons, about basically tabletop gaming, but also I think mostly about the Dungeons and Dragons OSR, chasing maybe the perfect game. I'm not certain. It'll be an interesting conversation, I guarantee it. Scott is part of that podcast with a couple of his friends. So anyway, I want to let everybody know about that. So again, I already talked that I would be running some Savage Worlds, and I would be running genres that I really love, but had not found the ideal game system to run those genres. And I think Savage Worlds would be this would be a great time for me to try one of those genres and by using Savage Worlds. So I want to talk about the preparation for a one-off session. I will be providing an opportunity for the guys in our group to play in this if they're interested. So I will be making these PreGen characters, and I will be providing this simple little note to them as to where they're at and what to expect. So Savage Worlds one-off session prep. This will be in occupied France, May 21st, 1944. In a fictional village called Belle Rose, a small village just northwest of St. Lo. The pre-generated characters will be Jack Anderson, aka Lars Gunderson, an American secret agent undercover as a Swedish businessman or Swedish lawyer. Sophia DuPont, an American married to a Frenchman. She will be French resistance contact. Her husband and the Seigneur of Chateau Belle Rose, Antoine DuPont, meaning he owns basically the land there the village is on and lives in a chateau with his family there. The village would lay upon his property. And again, he is Sophia's husband. Then Jean-Luc Picon, the mayor of village Belle Rose. He is ultimately the Vichy collaborator. The Vichy government, for those of you who don't know, that was the puppet government set up by the Germans, French sympathizers, and the Germans would ultimately occupy and control France through this puppet government called the Vichy Swab, right? The Vichy government. So that doesn't necessarily mean they are fans of the Germans, but they may have found a way to survive as Vichy collaborators, right? A way to keep the peace and save lives, depending on the event, or So you wonder why I would have a actual hero character, a Vichy collaborator, because he's trying to keep the peace, so to speak, between the German occupation and the French civilians. And then there's Martin Dubois, a French resistance fighter. So those would be the choices of the pre-gen characters, and I'll have all of those pre-gens finished, and I'll provide those on game night. What the players need to know: we're in German-occupied France. It's a Vichy government. It's pre-D-Day invasion by about, 2 weeks. I think June 6th was D-Day, so we're talking, this is only a few weeks before the D-Day invasion. There's high tension as the Germans anticipate an invasion force, but they do not know exactly when and where it would come from. The Germany is desperate to turn the tides of the war, so this is in a way a country on its heels, so to speak, preparing for the big invasion, to see the war come to their front door, so to speak. And Belle Rose is a fictional small village northwest of St. Lo, so it allows us to create a fictional village, allows me, to create a fictional village, fictional characters set just outside the larger city of St. Lo. So anyway, this is what I'm preparing for the very first. This will be the first Savage Worlds I've run in probably 9 years, maybe not quite that long, 8 years. I can't remember the last time I ran it. So I am looking forward to running Savage Worlds and in these one-offs, trying different different genres. So this will be basically a spy genre, espionage genre, behind enemy lines, or at least for Jack Anderson, he will be an agent behind enemy lines to do an actual mission, right? So I will actually prepare this as if it were a written setting, written module. There will be a goal for Jack Anderson, Lars Gunderson, and then of course he will have his cohorts that he can, work with to try to execute his actual mission. So, all right, thanks for watching. Remember tonight, 7 Central, I will be a guest on the Role Playing with Smart People podcast. This will be great fun. So, if for some reason that isn't live, and it may not be live, of course, the link will lead you to it whenever they upload the actual podcast. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful Sunday, and stay tuned.